Ottawa's speed skating queens and their Quebec teammate get the gold. Canadian pride shining brightly today as the athletes are presented their medals on the podium. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. Olympic gold is putting both national and local pride on display today. A team of women representing Canada skated their way with speed to gold, and two of them call the capital home. An eruption of cheers as Team Canada took the lead. This watch party happening earlier today at Colonel By Secondary School, where Isabelle Weidemann was once a student. CTV's Leah Larocque is here with more on the incredible achievement. And Leah, you spoke to some proud parents today as well.
I did, and pride doesn't even begin to describe how these parents are feeling right now. Imagine watching your daughter compete in her 4th Olympic Games. The Blondin said it was incredible, but it doesn't get any easier. Bob and Lise Blondin watched their daughter Ivanie win the speed skating team pursuit today, along with her teammates Quebec's Valerie Maltais and Isabelle Weidemann. Also from Ottawa, the 3 women defending their Olympic title. They say they watched their daughter and it can be tense, and they only celebrate when the results are in.
Oh my goodness, that was an awesome race. Just beautiful. They started the way they start, slowly, and then they build up their speed. But boy, you know, I was worried. You know, the Dutch, they're pretty strong, but you know, our team, they're the best, the strongest. These women, man, you know, they're a good team.
There were some watch parties across Ottawa for these women at their former high schools, old coaches, and of course with family and friends. Bob and Lise haven't spoken to Ivanie just yet. She was swept into media interviews and of course a medal ceremony. They can't wait to speak to her. Their son is also there to watch. And of course there is a big contingent of Canadian fans there to watch, Stefan, and congratulations to all of them.
I love the look on their face, just beaming with pride and so focused. Thank you, Leah, and congrats to them. Turning to Ottawa's West End now, where at least 2 homes have been damaged by flames this afternoon. Firefighters say the call came in just before 2 p.m. reporting a single-family home burning on Pelham Crescent near Perth Street. But when crews arrived, they could see that the fire had also spread beyond the walls of that home.
When firefighters arrived on scene, the house that had originally caught fire had spread to the neighbor's house. It became a priority to protect the other houses in the area. All of those were protected by firefighters, and the fire was contained to the 2 houses that were on fire when they arrived.
Paramedics say a man was taken to hospital for smoke inhalation. The cause of the blaze is under investigation. Vorlage Ski Hill reopened for the first time today since a fatal incident involving a child and chairlift. A 13-year-old girl died at Chio on Sunday after a piece of her clothing got caught in the lift last week. The Quebec agency responsible for inspecting ski lifts says it conducted an investigation and identified non-conformities with the lift. It says Vorlage has since addressed those issues, allowing all 4 lifts to reopen today. A 73-year-old Ottawa man is set to spend the next 2 years under house arrest after killing his ailing husband nearly 4 years ago. CTV's Dylan Dyson was at court today and joins us with the latest. Dylan.
Stefan, it was a merciful sentence for what was described as a mercy killing. Philippe Hebert and his husband, Richard Rutherford, had been together over 40 years. Their relationship was described as nearly perfect. Rutherford, a former principal dancer with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet, was dying from cancer. After years of suffering and deteriorating health, Hebert had made a murder-suicide pact with Rutherford. Hebert smothered his husband to death the night of April 15th, 2022, but he was unable to take his own life. The Crown had sought 6 years in prison for the killing. The defense asked for 2 years following a guilty plea. The judge decided that 2 years less a day of house arrest was appropriate.
Justice Phillips said it very, very well. There's no sentence that can ever come close to that sentence. Phil will be serving a life sentence without his partner, and that's the reality of this case.
Justice Kevin Phillips said jail time did not serve the interests of justice. Hebert is not a danger to the public, and he gained nothing from the crime. There was a large support group for Hebert that attended the sentencing today. Hebert will be allowed to leave his home for 3 hours each week for medical appointments and to run errands. Stefan.
All right, CTV's Dylan Dyson reporting. Thank you for this update, Dylan. Meanwhile, some unions representing federal public servants claim that the return to office mandate will disproportionately impact women and working parents. Mothers are starting to speak up about the pressures of childcare, the lack of spaces, and how coming back to the office nearly full-time means they may have to quit their jobs. CTV's Caitlin Wilson joins us live with the latest on this. Caitlin.
Yes, Stefan, one Ottawa mother says without flexibility, she may have to leave the public service altogether as parents continue to face long waits for daycare and after-school programs. Brooklyn Holmes is among thousands affected by workforce reductions, and she has until the end of March to decide if she wants to take part in the voluntary departure program. At the same time, if she returns, she'll be expected in the office 4 days a week under the latest return to office mandate. Her oldest starts kindergarten in the fall, and at the start of the school year, the Ottawa Carleton District School Board reported more than 1,000 children on wait lists for extended day programs, and daycare for her youngest is no different. Operators say wait lists have only grown under the $10 a day childcare program, all of which is creating uncertainty for working parents.
I think women disproportionately bear the cost of these kind of policies, so it would be disappointing if the policies resulted in women leaving the workforce in large numbers.
The wait lists were already long, and for folks to find care on such short notice is now just going to add an extra burden to the system, and everyone's going to have more trouble finding childcare to meet the need of this new policy.
In a statement to CTV News, the Canadian Association of Professional Employees says the city is already short 7,000 daycare spots, adding the decision will ultimately impact women who still face disproportionate responsibilities when it comes to childcare and domestic labor. We reached out to the Treasury Board for comment, but did not hear back before deadline. Stefan?
A tricky situation. Thank you, Caitlin. And while it may be years away, some public servants may have been looking forward to the idea of a new tram service connecting Ottawa and Gatineau. But right now, there are concerns the funding for the project could be in jeopardy, ultimately derailing the plans to lay down tracks. Gatineau's mayor is sounding the alarm bells, warning that the Quebec government is shifting responsibility of the project from the city to a provincial transit infrastructure department. The plan was to have the tram system connect Aylmer to downtown Gatineau and then Gatineau to Ottawa. But with a shift in responsibility, Gatineau's mayor isn't confident the cash flow will be the same.
The big issue with that is also that the fact that they defund the project. So we have received the mandate to dismantle le bureau de projet and to terminate the contract in which we're currently involved with private enterprise.
More than $160 million had been approved and earmarked for the planning stages. Now, Gatineau's mayor says they'll have to assess the cost of terminating those contracts. Prime Minister Mark Carney unveiling his government's new defense industrial strategy today, which will prioritize building military equipment at home.
As a matter of policy, military procurement in areas where we have sovereign capabilities will be directed to Canadian firms first. Where we can't build alone, we will partner with like-minded allies, helping to attract investment, transfer intellectual property, and integrate supply chains so that public dollars flow back to Canada and Canadian jobs created right here.
The government says its new strategy positions Canadian industry to take advantage of $180 billion in defense procurement and $290 billion in defense-related capital investment opportunities over the next decade. The government expects the strategy will create 125,000 high-paying careers and grow Canadian defense industry revenue by 240%. Coming up on CTV News at 5, an Ottawa City Councillor pushing further on discouraging residents from feeding wild animals, hoping to bring in an amendment to the bylaw. And our Jackie Perez is joining us live in studio with our first check on the forecast. Jackie, and you have some Canal news for us?
Yes, really looking forward to this. As of tomorrow, 8 a.m., the Rideau Canal will be open. So yes, for a brief period of closure, it was enough time for the crews to get working on the ice. So lace up your skates. You can commute this way into work if you're heading downtown. Now, taking a look at our conditions, mainly clear skies. We had a lot of sunshine moving through as well. Overnight lows about about -9. Clear skies tomorrow, a daytime high of -2. So it is starting to get a bit cooler, so not passing that freezing mark. Mainly sunny skies will carry on, but right now, really throughout the region, we are sitting at the warmest day of the week at around 2 degrees. It's about 6 and 5 degrees in the valley. So we'll get a closer look at the forecast because we are likely going to be seeing snow by the end of the week. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. Here's what you need to know. Canadian R&B icon Jolie Black takes to the stage here in the capital this upcoming weekend. She's performing at the National Arts Centre on Saturday, February 21st. Showtime is 7:30 p.m. Visit the NAC's website for tickets. With a live check on traffic right now, we know westbound lanes are slow moving from Bronson to Woodruff. There happens to be a collision at Woodruff, slowing things down at this time in those westbound lanes. Eastbound seeing congestion from Riverside to Innis, and the 174 eastbound heading out to Orleans is slow from the split to Montreal Road. You're watching CTV News at 5. Welcome back to CTV News at 5. If you've ever been tempted to feed a chipmunk or squirrel, an Ottawa City Councillor wants you to think again. Councillor Laura Dudas is asking the city to consider a ban on feeding wildlife, saying feeding wild animals causes problems for animals and communities. Today's radio question of the day is asking, does the city need a bylaw to ban feeding wild animals?
The activity is being fueled by the fact that there's easy food access. And whether it's unintentional or maybe the person is feeding like a raccoon or, leaving food out, it's having a negative impact on property owners next to them, residents, and the neighborhood. So what I have done is I've introduced this motion, and it's going to come to committee on Thursday.
Christy Cameron is here with more. And Christy, forgive my ignorance, I thought a bylaw already existed. Other municipalities have one, so we've just been strongly discouraging residents from feeding wildlife?
Laura Dudas is looking at what Toronto has done as of 2022 or 2023. Mississauga has one. Apparently in Mississauga, you can be fined a maximum penalty of up to $100,000, right? So now Councillor Dudas was saying she doesn't want to fine people. She doesn't want to slap people with financial penalties. But maybe a warning is a good idea because apparently she gets complaints about this and she has heard of people doing this, as you heard. This does not include bird feeders.
Okay.
So we're talking about putting peanuts out for chipmunks or like a bowl of cat food that is left out, but bird feeders would not be encompassed by this ban.
My favorite is people actively feeding the birds with bread and then they can't get rid of them later.
There was somebody that I saw online feeding skunks, baby skunks. And I thought, that's a risky little game. I guess allegedly, when they're really little, like a couple of days old, they don't spray.
Their stinkers haven't.
Well, they have that, they don't have that capability yet. But it's like, unless you're an expert, how do you know how old they are?
That's a risky business.
That seems like a risky little game. They're cute, I get it. But I had a wildlife expert on my show today who said, if you hate the animals, don't feed them. If you love the animals, don't feed them. And I think that drives it home, doesn't it? Because when you feed the cute little raccoons or the baby skunks or the squirrels, you are basically operating a free restaurant. I'm an animal lover. I get it. Admire, but don't feed. You don't want them to be reliant on humans. It's not a good thing. And we have a lot of rats in this city.
That's right. If it's left out, you're attracting the wrong animals, potentially. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
You can join the conversation, leave a comment through the Talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen live to Christy Cameron on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 2 to 6. And now watch Christy's segments on YouTube. Subscribe to the News Talk 580 CFRA channel.
People tell me it makes them smile, so that makes me smile.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, an Ottawa woman's winter tradition bringing smiles and whimsy to the Kitchissippi Winter Trail. Another live check on traffic. O'Connor is moving well in both directions at this time. Bronson not looking too bad either. Bayswater well in both directions. Unusually light along that stretch. Parkdale, though, and Woodruff, you're going to see some backups because there is a collision at Woodruff in the westbound lanes, severely backing things up right now. We'll be right back.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Coming up later tonight after the news, you can watch Best Medicine starting at 7. Will Trent at 8, then 2 episodes of The Big Bang Theory starting at 9, and W5 Avery Haynes Investigates starts at 10. Those looking to get back on the Rideau Canal Skateway are in luck. In case you missed it, we just announced after a brief closure, the National Capital Commission announced it will reopen the entire skateway tomorrow starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's bring in Jackie Paris with more on this and on what we can expect weather-wise for the next several days. Jackie.
Well, Stefan, you said it. The NCC says the brief closure, it did help preserve the surface, and crews were able to take advantage of the cold overnight temperatures these last few days. And I know this is the warmest day. Wouldn't feel like that. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It is 2 degrees right now. We did get lots of sunshine, but knowing the canal will open, what wonderful news. We are taking a look, though, at an active weather system that is moving through. It's really focusing just south of Kingston, really over the Great Lakes. So really much of southern Ontario is in warnings and watches. So here's a closer look at this right now. You've got a snowfall warning around Peterborough and Belleville. We're anticipating 10 to 15 centimeters of snow for tomorrow. A winter storm warning in the GTA. And we have a freezing rain warning just west of Toronto around Guelph, as well as Kitchener. So we aren't seeing that affecting us here in Ottawa, Smiths Falls, or Brockville, but if the wind shifts, this could change things. Right now, though, conditions looking mainly clear, so that's the good news for Eastern Ontario. -6 to kick things off in the morning, warming up to about -2, but again, mainly sunny skies will last not just for tomorrow, but into our Thursday. Now, overnight conditions for the Seaway, -4, partly cloudy skies. There is a chance that Kingston area could see periods of snow, -1 the daytime high, but the Ottawa Valley, mainly sunny skies tomorrow, -3 degrees is the anticipated temperatures. Take a look at this, though. Friday, different story. We are likely going to see that wintry mix moving through, especially Friday evening. Could make for a messy commute. We see a little bit of freezing rain, as well as rain down by Kingston, Smiths Falls, Cornwall, Ottawa. More likely, we will see some periods of snow moving in. And now taking a look at these next several days, temperatures will be averaging during the daytime between -1, -3 degrees. But again, those overnight lows really good for the skateway, where temperatures will be -10, -11 degrees. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie.
It's an opportunity to look back at the history of Ottawa, even beyond 200 years.
Celebrating 2 centuries of history and culture in the capital at a special event today at Ottawa City Hall. More details coming up shortly. Here's what you need to know. The Metcalfe Farmers Market is hosting its February Fresh Market this Saturday at the Greeley Community Center. Check out the offerings from more than 50 local producers. It's on from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. If you need gas tonight, one of today's cheapest gas prices can be found at the Pioneer Station on Bank Street in the Gloucester area. Regular gas there is going for 125.9 cents a liter.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Here's another live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The current temperature, 2 degrees. And here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
Our team, they're the best, the strongest. These women, man, they're a good team.
Hometown pride and reaction to Canadian speed skaters winning gold today at the Winter Games. Ivanie Blondin and Isabelle Weidemann are both from Ottawa.
Its framework is simple. Build, partner, buy. First, we will build in Canada and prioritize Canadian companies.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announcing a Buy Canadian strategy to grow our defense industry that's expected to be lucrative.
It would be disappointing if the policies resulted in women leaving the workforce in large numbers.
And as thousands of public servants prepare to spend more time in the office, many of them are also struggling to secure childcare for when that happens in just a few months. Now, the final 5 other stories we're following today. People around the world are ringing in the Lunar New Year, and Premier Doug Ford offered his best wishes to all those marking the occasion.
Happy Lunar New Year, Ontario. As we welcome the Year of the Horse, I want to extend my best wishes to everyone celebrating across our great province.
Prayers and performances were held in Beijing today as China ushered in the holiday. Here in Ottawa, a Lunar New Year parade will take place on Saturday in the Chinatown area along Somerset Street West between Bronson Avenue and Bell Street.
This is a tradition that St. Isabelle has for Shrove Tuesday, where the Knights of Columbus come in and prepare pancakes for the entire school.
Is the day Jesus fasted, like the 40 days.
It's also Shrove Tuesday today. Students and staff at St. Isabelle Catholic School in Canal celebrated with a traditional pancake meal. For Christians, Shrove Tuesday is a feast day before Ash Wednesday, which marks the beginning of Lent.
It's an opportunity to look back at the history of Ottawa, even beyond 200 years. It's a moment for reflection and really just encouraging citizens and residents of Ottawa to get out and explore their local heritage sites and learn more about Ottawa.
And over at Ottawa City Hall, a celebration was held to mark Heritage Day. This year's theme is Voices of a City, celebrating 2 centuries of collective histories and local heroes in Ottawa. More than 50 local historical societies, museums, and heritage organizations took part in the public event. Shoppers have just under a month left to use their Eddie Bauer gift cards and loyalty program points. Gift cards and rewards earned through the company's Adventure Points program will not be accepted after March 12th. The move is part of bankruptcy protection proceedings by the struggling retailer. The proceedings were started by the operator of both Eddie Bauer's Canadian and American stores.
I build them because I enjoy building and also because people seem to really like them.
A trail near the Ottawa River is home to more than a dozen bears, but don't worry, these are cute and sculpted from snow. Every winter, Maggie Glossop creates them, bringing joy to anyone using the Kitchissippi Winter Trail. That's it for us here on CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. Thanks for watching.